and welcome to Civil War Digital Digest. I'm Andy. Today we're going to do a book review for you, and I'm going to be talking about Ken Masterson's Brown, Meade at Gettysburg, A Study in Command. Before we get going, I want to say thank you to the coffee grinders, our patrons whose financial contributions allow us to do these episodes. You can check out the link below, and one of the things there you'll see if you decide to become a patron is we have a lot of bonus content that makes its way there that doesn't make it into regular episodes. Some of it's extras, some of it is stuff that we produce just for our patrons. There's some cool stuff there, so you should consider joining up. Ken Masterson Brown's recent book, Meade at Gettysburg, A Study in Command, is an attempt to look at the Gettysburg campaign through the eyes of George Gordon Meade and through his staff. I really love his approach to this. It reminds me of a book that I read called Wellington at Waterloo by Jack Weller. It's written in the 1960s. Weller was a professor at West Point, and it's his way of studying Waterloo through Wellington's eyes only. So you don't find out things before something happened to Wellington. And it really changes your perspective. I think Brown did the same thing with this book. By limiting the perspective to Meade and his staff and their information gathering, it puts the decisions he makes in a whole different light. It cuts down on the ability to Monday morning quarterback when you know everything that's happening as it's happening real time, when the general in the field at the time doesn't know that. Of course you can make better decisions when you know everything. But the point of it is, were the decisions Meade made with the information available to him good decisions or not? And I think Brown does an excellent job of showing Meade's decision-making as he's getting this information in real time, without the benefit of this omnipresent view. The other thing I really like about this book is the way that Brown incorporates the military theory into it. So many times with the Civil War, we look at these officers and we see them having gone from captains or majors to generals right away. And we talk about how these are, even the West Pointers are so out of their league that they've gone up the ranks so quickly they're out of their element. But the thing that we forget with is these are professional officers who went to West Point, which, while not the greatest military academy in the world at this time, still a very competent educational institution. At West Point, though, the professor in charge of teaching military theory, Dennis Hart Mahan, also taught his students the most up-to-date military theories of the era. Whether it's Jomini's Art of War, or whether it's von Clausewitz's On War, he was making sure that his students were reading the most up-to-date military theory and well prepared for this larger military thought. As an officer in the military right now, someone who has a master's in military history and has studied this, I appreciate that he has taken the time to take this military theory and put it out there and show that what Meade is doing fits in the framework of the military theory of the period. It really helps explain some of Meade's actions, and he makes some excellent arguments. One of the things I will say, though, is this is high-level military thought, and I think it can be a barrier to some people in the audience. I think Brown does a great job of trying to break it down to a low level and trying to make the leap to pull up the audience to understand, but I think there's some people that'll read this book and just get lost in what he's talking about. I don't think it's because it's poorly written. I just think it's a complicated subject, and he's doing the best he can to break it down to the widest common denominator. And I think that if you're a little worried about getting up to the level on theory, you can read some of these books and get an understanding. Whether it's Jomini's Art of War or von Clausewitz's On War, check out the links below. You can read those books on your own or excerpts. There's plenty of things out there that help break that down into more digestible theories for you. So when you go read this book, it might not leave you behind as much. It's so easy to look at someone like George Gordon Meade and look at him as a caricature, the old snapping turtle. And I think Brown puts him as a person, really breaks down his history, his background. We forget that he's a fighting general. He's been wounded multiple times. He's one of the most capable combat commanders in the Army of the Potomac. There is a reason he's in command of the Army of the Potomac. He is a brilliant person, and he was one of the few people Lee was ever afraid of. And now you can see why. Again, I think this book does a great job of making you understand George Gordon Meade, making you understand his decisions, and explaining why he didn't attack at Williamsport after the battle and why he did what he did at Gettysburg. Overall, I highly recommend this book. I thought it was a great read. I was really encaptured when I read it. I think you'll enjoy it too. So go ahead and take the time. Again, you can find the link for the book below. Go buy yourself a copy and enjoy it. For Civil War Digital Digest, I'm Andy, and I hope we'll catch you next time.